Alright, we're going to talk about Legion, link skills, Legion grid, which priority, and a great tool that I put together to really help, I guess, everyone, old and new players to the game with, I guess, their own sense of prioritizing what they value more over others. Anyway, so Legion grid. There are check marks for this that once you pass, you get to unlock more and more and more of this grid. Initially, you only start with this interior, right? The small highlighted box on the inside until you reach total level 2000. Then you unlock one level outside of this. Then you can start putting points into your crit damage, normal damage, boss, IED, what have you. The next one I believe is 3000. Once you reach total level 3000 on your account in a server, one server, you unlock the second row. Then 4000, 5000, then 6000. So what I'm saying here is definitely at least get to level 6000 if you want to start pushing end game, late game, even pushing some mid game content becomes a whole lot easier once you get your account level up. Reason why is you get access to a lot of useful tools that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. I guess not tools, but damage amplifiers or EXP buffs. For example, if you're a Night Lord like myself, you get an automatic 5% crit damage at 250. But not only my Night Lord, every other character on this account on this server. So, yeah, crit rate's okay. Same with Marksman, only crit rate, but that's okay. When you get over to some of the other ones that are way more valuable, you start really seeing the shining light behind leveling up a bunch of different characters. 5% crit damage is a ton of damage. 5% crit damage is a bunch. 5% crit, rest in peace. We have ignore defense, 10% EXP. This is from an old event. Ignore that. We also have boss damage. We have ignore enemy defense. And then the other ones are kind of whatever, really, some base stats, but these are not affected by your percent stats on your items. Some classes really benefit from a Corsair. Some classes benefit from a mechanic to get buff duration. Phantom, just get a little bit of extra meso. So, what does Legion do altogether? Gives you a ton of valuable stat like crit damage, normal damage, boss damage, ignore defense. Explorer mages, I'm sorry. You kind of have to go all out, get 8,000 total levels to get this up there too. Get 10,000 if you're an absolute monster and get all these 4 done. But most classes you can get away with just 7,000 and get comfortable there. I myself am going to start pushing endgame, hopefully pretty soon. So I will need to fill this out as well to min-max my damage. So yeah, unfortunately, it may be tedious to some, but you kind of just need to do some account grinding. Keep in mind, currently, it only accounts for 42 of your characters above level 60. It will not count your characters until they hit level 60. But, or I guess a 0 starts counting at level 130, because making a new 0 starts at 100. Moving forward, Legion coins. The more Legion raid power you have, the more coins you get per day, which also means the faster you accumulate these coins and the higher the cap. The higher the cap, I think, depends on your actual title for your Legion, but the speed at which you get these coins is determined by your Legion power. Your Legion power is mostly affected by the level of your character, followed by the Star Force. So if you're new, I'm referring to the little stars at the top of these items. Equipped, I'm sorry. According to the Star Force equipped on that character. So you ask, what are these coins going to get you? Well, some very vital items and potions that you'll need later on, and buffs. So you talk to Mr. Poncho over here. This you don't really need until you start bossing. Even then, it's not necessary unless you're soloing, then sometimes that little push helps. Doesn't give that much, but a little bit of damage here. EXP, this does not stack with normal EXP buffs. I don't know if I have any. but it does stack with MVPs. Keep that in mind. The most important ones are this one, which increases your drop rate. This does not conflict with any other drop buffs except, I guess, the buffs that are like this but blue, and they say drop, right? However, this does not conflict with anything. This, you can have max meso. Well, I don't have it all equipped, but once you have 100, all your max meso items on, you stack this on top. It's going to add on to that, not just 50% because we're in reboot, but this increase of increase of meso rate does affect this as well. So now we go down to the item buffs. Epic pot scroll, not vital. You might need it every now and then. It is a nice 100%. So, you know, if you are really saving money and you got a bunch of coins, this is nice to throw in your arcane items when you get them, or your Absolab items as like a midpoint. It's there. It's nice to have. Golden pot stamp. I feel like you can spend your coins better doing anything else. Just get the silver stamps for 10 mil each. If you're broke, this is a backup here, and it's 80% instead of the 50 for the silver. These are not, they're not useless. They are very beneficial if you're just slowly leveling up like a boss mule or like gearing them up. I personally don't touch these. I'd rather save these for when I'm on an absolute grind fest and I need to blow my money on these, or my coins. This, I'll get to the flames in a second. Don't just, these aren't here. Don't touch these. They don't give you nearly as much as you should get for 70 coins. These, however, are quite nice. If you are leveling your account, again, your Legion, these do two really good things. Gives you an automatic 49% and gives you a double XP buff for 30 minutes. Incredible. Now, I will say nowadays, double XP coupons are quite common through events. When you don't log into a character for long enough, you just get a couple there. But they're definitely, I recommend them the whole time. Would I recommend stacking them on a character if you're too lazy to level it up? Kinesis? Yes, only on Kinesis. On everyone else, you don't necessarily have to. I'm joking. Only a little bit about Kinesis. I can't stand that class. Like leveling the class. Ugh. Moving on. Flames. Just touch this one. You only get 20 a week. Oh, these also reset every week. I believe Sundays, if I'm not mistaken. Sunday at reset. So if you're in Eastern, that's 8 p.m. PST, so California. That would be 5 p.m. Just touch this. This as a backup. You only get 3 of these though. These are definitely, I think they're kind of worth it, to be honest with you. Flames typically are 9.5 mil if you don't spend coins on them. They're a bit hard of a drop to get. Honestly, these are kind of nice. Again, I wouldn't touch anything but these two unless you got a nice chunk of change. And I consider a nice chunk of coins to be like 10,000 plus, maybe 6 or 7,000 plus. That's really it. This, you know, you don't really need it. I don't think it's worth it. I've seen people stack up on these. What this is referring to is your presets. So you have you have two unlocked permanently, as it says there, right? I have one for bossing, clearly, and one for farming. You can unlock more, but at 150 coins per 30 days per one. I personally don't think it's worth it, really. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for Legion. I'll show you a full list of what it all can get you in a minute. Let's go to links. Links are a little more tedious to deal with. Yes, you get more value off of lower levels on your characters, but you have to switch every time you go on a different character. So, meaning you have to, let's say I log into my Demon Slayer boss mule. I open up my skill tab, I click here. You can select a preset that you want. Of course, you have to fill it out, click apply, and then next time you log in, you can just click boom, 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 apply, save, done. So these are a lot of up to 10, I'm sorry, up to 12 you can have equipped at a time. Kind of like the Legion presets, you can have your farming. This is my farming presets. This is my bossing presets. It's really, really beneficial, but it is just annoying to deal with. I still, you need it. You still need it, no matter what. If you want any sort of progression, especially like early game leveling, these will help you a ton. Like, look at this, 15 or 20%. I just got it to 210, the Mercedes. 20% EXP, 70% rune duration, a bunch of extra damage modifiers and buffs that'll help you kill faster. There's no reason not to. It also helps you, something that's not considered often, although Scardor does go over it a lot, which I appreciate. Link skills actually provide you something that you can't get otherwise. Or rather, it helps you kind of get to the certain stats you need to get to without burning one specific resource. For example, if you need 100% crit rate, right? You have 4 options to take in order to get there. And you can mix and match. But you can do your hyper stats, put a couple points in there, but it can take away from your crit damage, your damage percent, your damage versus mobs percent. So okay, let's say this isn't really worth it because the amount you get for the amount of points you have to invest just is not there. It's not there. Okay, let's go to Legion. You have your 5% or your 4% or your 3% from your Night Lord and your Marksman. And let's say you don't want to put points in here because ignore defense is too valuable or your bonus EXP is too valuable. Okay, well, let's look at some other resources. Well, this is probably the best one to look at because one of your 12 slots can give you between 15 and 20% crit rate. All you need is a level 120 Phantom for 15% or 210 Phantom for 210 or 20% crit rate. So you see where you can kind of get to your desired stats and results. You just kind of have to weigh out what you prefer, what you would rather have. So again, crit rate is not valuable to, you don't get as much out of crit rate here or here, so might as well just take up 2 or 3 of these slots, get your crit rate to 100% in the form of Phantom Instinct, and then you have 2 other things you can use, which is Adventurous Curiosity, which is the Explorer Bowman, Archer, or Bowman classes. You have your Pathfinder, Marksman, Bowmaster. They each give 4% for a total of 12% crit. And if you still can't get it with the 100% crit rate with that, you also have your Beast Tamer. Where is it? Beast Tamer. At level 120, you get 7% crit. At level 210, you get 10% crit. So right there alone, let's say you get the 3 archers or 3 bowmen to 120. That's 12%, 15% for a 120 Phantom. That's 27, plus another 7. That's 34%. And you didn't waste any points from here or from here. Then you add on another 8%, right? And from your Marksman and Night Lord, and you're just already pushing up to more than 40 points. Like, it's just too valuable. Don't ignore links. Don't ignore Legion. So yeah. Now, how to get said stats? Well, that's where this file comes into play. This is an extremely helpful document I put together. You can ignore the bright blue. That's just my own personal stats or my own personal levels. But this kind of goes over. Let me just. Oh, I can't zoom in, but this goes over what class gives you what legion, as stated here, and what link skill, as stated here, along with the levels required to reach those checkpoints, I guess, or the level of the skill. So, what to prioritize? Well, damage. For link, damage. What gives you damage? Well, anything in this tan or beige color will give you some sort of damage. Some better than others, but it does go over all the ones that I recommend getting for sure. So let's look at the Legion ones. Without a shred of doubt, you need to get your Shade to 200, at least 140 to get 3% crit damage. But I say 200 is best. So Shade, most certainly. Hayato, definitely. And while you still can, your Jet. We have a couple, I think we have 8-9 months until it's taken away from us. And we're currently in May of 2023, so keep that in mind if this is still around later on. But yeah, Jet is another 5%. Next from that, I do think crit rate is quite helpful, like I mentioned earlier, Night Lord and Marksman. These base stats do not count when you consider percent stat on your items. So if you have 9% luck, let's say you have 300% luck on your items and you get a Shadower to 200, right? Level 200 Shadower gives you 80 luck. That 80 luck is not added to the pool of stat that 300% luck will add. Keep that in mind. So although it is a small boost of damage, it's not a considerable amount. There's no real big purpose for leveling up. Let's say, not a Phantom. Let's say these three just for some, or these two just for some extra luck. Now for the Link skill, most definitely, or the Link skill is really powerful on these. But yeah, moving on. So damage, crit damage. You want to get your Jet up, your Shade up, and your Hayato up first and foremost. For if we're considering just Legion. When it comes to Link, the beautiful thing about this game in most categories that you fall into, you can pretty much do it however you wish. You know, I recommend get some damage first and then level up all your other characters, because if you take a Mercedes without Links or Legion, it's just not going to do a lot of damage. Its kit isn't really built for low damage because it's really fast, it moves around, and a lot of their skills need them to be flying around, although they did kind of adjust that. Point being is, not every class is going to glow with minimal damage, right? So I recommend, personally, get a Kana up. Where's Kana? Kana, get it up to 60, get an extra 5% damage, or 120 for 10%. Get a Demon Avenger up. Same thing. If you're crazy, hey, get it to 210, get 15% damage. But I think 10% damage is good for now. So that right there is 20% damage, right? Then I would say get crit damage up, but I recommend getting a bare minimum 90% crit rate before touching these, but you can get there later on if you're just focusing on Legion. Here's another set of crit rate to get there. 15% crit rate at level 120. Then you got, depending on your class, you can utilize these 3 Explorer Thieves and give you an extra 18% if you get 3 of them to level 120. That's a decent chunk, plus it helps towards your Legion levels. And then once you get a little bit of damage, I think just get your Kana and your Demon Avenger first to 120. Maybe the Phantom to 120. Then start work on your EXP boost links. So for example, your Mercedes at level 120 gives you 15%. Evan, rune duration bonus, 60% rune duration. It's incredible. If we look over here to a 0, if you get the chance to make one, although annoying, it is really worth it to get through this, because you do get 10% EXP, and I don't know, it's worth it. It's really tedious. Their leveling is, I don't like it, but it's, you need to just do it. It helps you way too much to ignore. And then eventually, once you get a little bit of damage and extra EXP boost, you can do the this one, Kinesis, 120. Just get it to 120. It doesn't need to see anything above that. Nothing. Stop at 120. And if I could delete it and keep the Link skill, I would. But Nexon's being greedy. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. And then if we scroll down, you can see the total potential stats you can get on each link and Legion, and then combine for both. So for example, let's say if we just look at Legion, right? Let's say we need crit chance on our Legion, on our character, but we only want to touch Legion. Well, okay, let's be more realistic for an account. 6% or 8% crit chance, or I guess crit rate, you can get from only the characters. This is your Night Lord, right here, and your Marksman. But now let's consider the grid. The grid, you can get, this is a character and board. 35% if you get them to 200, or 29% if you get them to 140. But let's put everything together. This is the max amount possible stat bonus you can get with Link and Legion considered. Grid, right? The whole grid, the blocks, and links combined. Crit damage, you can get a max of 42%. Crit rate, a max of 90. I can't imagine why you would ever want to get 90% crit rate, considering you have to get them to 250. There's just no point for that. This one, however, I can see why you might want to min-max, but getting it to any class of 250 for 2% boss damage, it's not worth it, really. Too much time. Same thing with ignore defense. You're doing all that just for 2%. So a more realistic one would be maybe right here, right? 200 isn't too bad of a level to aim for. 50% IED, that's huge. And if you consider everything, 82% or 80. And then flat stat, damage percent, HP if you're a Demon Avenger. But yeah, I'm gonna put the link for this down below. Go ahead and visit it. If you want to download it and insert your levels on your own, you can always go File, Download, Download Excel, log into your own Google Drive, or if you have Microsoft Excel, go ahead and open it in there. And to open it within Google Drive, you just click File, Open, and then drag the file in there. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them within the comments, and any suggestions for other videos or guides, feel free to comment away.